Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Can the average COVID test detect the Omicron variant? Answers from a local doctor and debunking a debate over what works best, swabbing the nose versus the throat.
Plus more tragedy for the family of George Floyd, his niece involved in a shooting. How did it happen? David Sears has details coming up in your morning headlines.
A shortage of childcare workers has led to long wait lists and uncertainty for parents. Coming up, what incentives the YMCA of Greater San Antonio is offering.
And a good morning to you. It is Wednesday, January 5th.
That's right. Happy Wednesday. It was like the week's going by pretty quickly. And we started off in the 40s. It's getting up to 48, but I guess we're going to see some sunshine pretty soon.
That's right. We're expecting some much warmer weather later today and then another drop in temperatures.
That's exactly right. And, we'll be in the mid-70s today. It'll turn out to be a fairly warm day by January standards. And then tomorrow, everything changes again. We're back to more jacket weather. At the moment, sitting at 50 degrees, so temperatures are rising pretty quickly now. 36 Kerrville, 48 in Rock Springs, 43 right now in Carrizo Springs. And looking at the next 3 days, 75 today, so yes, warm, but tomorrow 62. And we achieve that number probably at about midday before the numbers fall. And then 53 on Friday, so a cooler day to end the work week. Let's look at the visibility right now. There is some fog out there, but it's generally from Gonzales to Beeville. So a small sort of strip there where fog is a problem. Kennedy, Beeville to Gonzales. Be on the lookout. But that fog should lift here pretty quick. Pollen count is in. Mountain Cedar did jump up a little bit today, but not a whole lot. 2,630 molds are low at 340. And looking at your forecast, 72 by 2 p.m., 75 by 4 p.m. Sunny skies, light and variable winds today. We'll time out that cold front for you, let you know about the weekend too, which does include still some small rain chances. That's coming up here in just a few minutes, guys.
Thank you, Justin. A quick check of the roads with TransGuide. There's Highway 281 at the quarry. Things seem to be moving there. And I-37 at Jones Avenue. No problems so far.
Well, things are returning to normal on a side street after this scene in the 600 block of Morelia at South General McMullen. This over on the west side. Well, this morning, police say a pedestrian was hit by a truck.
The gray truck that you see in the video apparently tried to stop but was rear-ended by the car behind them, ultimately hitting the person. Police say the pedestrian was walking in the street when they were hit. That person was taken to the hospital by ambulance and is in critical condition. It's
unclear if any charges could be filed. The incident is still under investigation. No one else was hurt.
And let's look at today's 9 at 9. Governor Greg Abbott is suing the Biden administration over the COVID-19 vaccine mandate for National Guard members. Abbott's suit says the policy is unconstitutional and could result in Texas losing members of the National Guard. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt also tried to stop the mandate in his state. The federal district judge denied his request for an injunction last week.
The price of COVID test kits is going up. Walmart and Kroger now say they're raising prices on the Binax Now at-home kits after a deal with the White House to hold prices at $14 expired. Walmart is selling them for just under $20 a box, Kroger for $24.
U.S. Capitol Police Chief Thomas Manger and other witnesses are expected to appear at the Senate Committee on Rules and Administration hearing today. The meeting comes on the eve of the one-year anniversary of the Capitol riots. More than 700 people have been arrested and charged for their roles in the deadly attacks.
Teachers in Chicago voted late Tuesday to switch classes to remote learning as COVID cases ramp up in the city, but shortly afterwards, city leaders made the decision to cancel classes altogether this morning to clear up any confusion for students and parents. Chicago's mayor says the teachers' union decision is an illegal work action, and the teachers who don't show up today will not be paid. Chicago Public Schools CEO Pedro Martinez described it as a walkout.
All 9 U.S. Supreme Court justices are fully vaccinated and boosted against the coronavirus. The High Court will hear arguments Friday in cases challenging the Biden administration's COVID-19 vaccine and testing requirements for large employers and certain healthcare workers.
A record number of Americans feeling confident about finding work across the country. The Labor Department says 4.5 million people voluntarily quit their jobs in November. And in the same month, employers posted 10.6 million job openings.
For the first time ever, Toyota has overtaken GM as the best-selling car company in the United States. The Japanese car maker outsold General Motors by about 114,000 vehicles last year. GM had been the #1 car maker in the country since 1931.
The massive CES technology show is underway in Las Vegas this morning. Like many other events, this one is being hindered by COVID-19. The event has in-person and virtual exhibits, which is a step up from last year's all-virtual event. Over 2,000 companies will exhibit their latest technology in person this year.
With only 30 days away, China is now well prepared for the 2022 Winter Olympics. This will be the first time in the history of the Olympics that all the venues will be wholly powered by green energy. The Olympic villages will open later this month. And that's today's 9/11.
The search is on for suspects involved in a deadly shooting on San Antonio's northeast side.
A total of 4 people were shot. It happened on Thanksgiving night on Sunrise Creek Drive, just outside of Loop 410 near Benz Engelman Road. The 2 people who were killed are identified as 28-year-old Charles Wolford and 25-year-old Eugene Wolford. 2 women were also shot. One of them is now paralyzed. We're told that witnesses saw the suspects in a white 4-door vehicle. If you know anything about this incident, you are asked to call Crime Stoppers at number 210-224-STOP. A silver alert is in effect for a missing 77-year-old woman last seen in Mission, Texas. That's near the Mexico border. And according to the Texas Department of Public Safety, Alicia Garcia was last seen around 4:30 p.m. She's described as being 5'4", brown hair, brown eyes, last seen wearing a dark sweater with blue jeans and black shoes. Anyone with information is asked to call the Mission Police Department. 80 morning headlines. A shooting victim over in Houston has a familiar relative, and another shooting at a high school. Traffic problems in the Northeast have just about melted away. David Sears is here to explain all of this. Morning.
Why is it so far this winter, every time we see a story about snow or traffic problems or people being cold or electricity, we start thinking about, am I the only one that does that? Am I the only one that thinks about February?
No, you're not alone.
Especially since we're approaching the 1-year anniversary of the winter blast.
Yeah.
It's like, this just brings back.
Very much front of mind.
Yes.
But first, let's start with this. A tragic moment for a 4-year-old with a familiar family tie. Ariana Delane was shot back on New Year's Day early in the morning while she was getting ready to get in bed and go to sleep. This happening in Houston. Ariana just happens to be the niece of George Floyd, who was raised in Houston and is buried there. Ariana's father, Delane, had just come back into the house after setting off fireworks. Then the bullets set off. The child was hit as she was getting ready for bed.
She wasn't out there, but like the grown folks was outside. They was in the house, sleep, getting ready for bed. My daughter would jumped up and say she had been hit, and I seen the blood bleeding, and that's when I grabbed her. My girl had to jump in the car and rush her to the hospital.
Ariana rushed to the hospital, rushed into surgery. She suffered a punctured lung, a punctured liver, and a couple of broken ribs. Her dad said as of now she's healing fast and is breathing on her own. Houston police don't have a description or any kind of motive for that shooting yet. A police presence, crime scene tape around evidence markers showing where bullet casings are in this parking lot of a high school in Rockford, Illinois. The shooting happened yesterday in broad daylight. 2 17-year-olds were taken to the hospital, a male and female. They were sitting in a car when the shooting happened. Both hit and rushed by ambulance to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The suspects tried to flee in their car. They ended up crashing, and all 3 were eventually caught. Their ages 15, 16, and 17. Police believe it was a targeted shooting. The 3 suspects were charged with attempted murder and aggravated discharge of a weapon. And finally, it looks like I-95 has been cleared of snow and ice and stranded vehicles, but it was quite a trip for a lot of folks, literally and figuratively. When that nor'easter hit the D.C. area Monday, folks on the highway just flat out got stuck and ended up stranded for like 27 hours for some. Nowhere to go, nowhere to get there. The line of traffic that came to a complete halt, 50 miles long. It was from Maryland to Virginia, just outside of D.C. Some folks just stayed in their cars. Others ran out of gas. Still, other folks tried to walk to food and shelter. Some pretty scared for a while. Others just tried to make do.
There are a lot of people out here, the elderly, the infirm, people who can't walk, people who need medicine. It can turn into from a convenience into a crisis pretty quickly, and then from a crisis to a tragedy even faster.
Hey, I just made you a hot breakfast and a cup of fruit punch. I saw you were sitting out here the whole time. As long as me, I was here since 1 a.m. So it was him and his mother, and both of them were really appreciative. It was a really nice moment.
That tells you how cool those 18-wheelers are if that guy's cooking up a hot breakfast with some fruit punch. That's not bad, huh? Even Senator Tom Kaine stranded for more than 27 hours. Here's the amazing part. No crashes, no deaths or injuries, just a long, cold night. Workers were hoping to get things cleared up by the time a rush hour hit this morning. Hopefully, it's all cleaned up now.
Yes.
It is finally. What an unbelievable mess.
Poor people.
Yeah. Can you imagine sitting in your car? Yeah, I can because, it was 45 degrees in a lot of houses back here in February.
Oh, my
So,
God.
yeah, I can imagine sitting in a car all night long. Hopefully they brought their blankets.
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
They just talk about the need for those roadside emergency
Yep.
kits, having some things.
Just on hand.
Yeah, blanket and water and bowls for your pets and things like that.
I bet they're all doing that now.
Yeah.
Let's put a
Probably
blanket,
Yeah.
maybe 2 in the car. In the
Making me
trunk.
think about it. I already have a
in
blanket,
case.
but now I think I want a
Yep.
thicker blanket in the back. 'Cause you never
Exactly.
know.
At least this time of year.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you very much, David. Right now we're at 9:08, about 50 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA at 9. The search for Lena Kill continues this morning. Investigators calling in divers after a tip leads them to a northwest side creek. The latest on the search.
But first, Tiffany Huertas outside a local YMCA where the need for extra hands is growing. She'll explain after the break. 9/12, a shortage of child care workers continues to be an issue, leading to long wait lists for kids and uncertainty for working parents.
At the YMCA of Greater San Antonio, they have close to 300 kids on the wait list for their after-school program, and they're looking for child care workers to join their team in order to bring on more kids.
Tiffany Huertas joins us live from the Harvey E. Najum Family YMCA on the south side with more. Good morning, Tiffany.
Good morning. Yeah, just a few months ago, they had about 400 kids on the wait list. Now they have about 270, but they need more childcare workers. Right now on your screen, you're going to see a QR code, and that's going to lead you to the WISE website, and it's going to show you the different job openings. But in order to bring more kids, they need those workers. So that's the site that you're going to go to if you want to look into these job positions. And to talk a little bit more about why all of this is happening is Shannon with the local Y. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning.
Talk to us about what is causing this shortage.
Yeah, it's definitely the pandemic, COVID. The shortages started happening around that time, and all other businesses are kind of doing the struggling with the same thing that we are, and we're just trying to get people, families, kids back in after-school programs, but we're struggling because we need some more staff.
Now we have a new COVID that is concerning. Is this going to cause more issues on top of all of this?
We anticipate that we'll probably have some struggles until this variant kind of dies out a little bit, but we're hoping it doesn't last too long.
You talked to us a few months ago about how parents are reacting to this shortage and these issues that it's causing, the after-school programs. What are they telling you now?
So right now we have about 270 kids on our wait list. Staffing shortages have caused about 40% capacity than normal. But this also, allows us to take better precautions, do spacing, have smaller class sizes right now, but it's definitely affecting families.
What are they telling you?
So families are struggling. They're calling every day. I get calls every day. I'm on the wait list. I need support. Most kids get out at 3 o'clock or before then, and your day doesn't end then. So they need some support. Childcare is essential. Otherwise these kids are just going to be at home alone, which is not safe.
Talk to us about the incentives for people that are looking into this type of position.
Yeah, so the YMCA of Greater San Antonio has really great incentives. If you're looking for an organization to grow with, the Y is definitely it. We have a $250 sign-on bonus. These are full-time, part-time positions. And you get a free Y membership for you and your family. Free childcare, which is pretty great since it's so expensive. There's lots of other perks and benefits, so yeah.
What safety measures are you all taking at the after-school programs and at the childcare centers?
Yeah, so we take it very seriously. So in all of our facilities, we're recommending that you wear a mask if you're unvaccinated. We do daily sanitation. Like I mentioned earlier, we make sure that there's enough spacing for children and staff.
And you mentioned the locations right now that need the most help for these after-school programs are in the Bernie area?
Yeah, so Bernie and New Braunfels are the biggest areas of need right now, but we do serve 60 schools across 6 school districts.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Again, that QR code will be on your screen, and also coming up in the noon show, we'll bring you a little bit more about what's causing all of this, and on our website, KSAT.com, we'll have more information. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you so much. And Tiffany is kind of wearing a coat there, which is appropriate right now. It's about 52 degrees, but that will soon change, right, Justin?
Yeah, well, we've had some chilly mornings here, but be prepared for some fluctuations in temperatures. You may want to stay tuned to the KSAT weather app. We'll keep you posted on the day-to-day changes, because it will be day-to-day here on whether or not you need a coat or maybe you don't. Let's first start, though, with what's going on outside. We've got clear skies and 50 degrees. So it is warming up pretty quickly, and it should be a warm day. Dew point is at 41, northwesterly winds at about 6 miles per hour. And there was some fog this morning, enough moisture return, not here in San Antonio, but down to the south and east where we did get some fog. But this is rapidly improving. So Gonzales, your visibility has jumped up just here within the last 30 minutes or so. Beeville, there is still some fog issues there, but I think that'll go away pretty quickly, probably within the hour. Temperature-wise, 40 in Kerrville, 46 Fredericksburg, 47 in New Braunfels, 50 in Gonzales, 54 Beeville. So that effect of the moisture, that added moisture, helped to keep temperatures up a little bit more down to our south and east. Conversely, a little drier up in the hill country, and your temperatures are a little bit cooler there. We look at the dew points. Yeah, it's still pretty dry. It's even drier as you get into North Texas. There is a front here. Now, we're not going to worry about this front, at least not yet. That push of drier air affects us tomorrow. And you really can't tell too much with the temperatures where this front is, but it is a little chillier as you get up into the Texas Panhandle. 28 right now in Amarillo, 35 in Lubbock. You compare that to 50s and 60s down here across South Texas. And as we look at the forecast for today, it is going to be a somewhat cooler day behind the front to the north. Highs only in the 50s for Lubbock, Midland, Abilene. Compare that to Laredo and Brownsville, which will be near 80. So there will be about a 30-degree temperature difference across the state thanks to this front. But we'll be on the warm side of things here in San Antonio, 75 degrees, the forecast high today. Let's talk about tomorrow, though. Yes, warm and sunny today, almost t-shirt weather if you're going to be outside this afternoon. Tomorrow, though, cold front expected. We think it'll be here by about midday, early afternoon, and that will drop temperatures. So by late in the day, we're looking at 50s, cooler and breezy, moving back towards jacket weather. That's that day-to-day change I was talking about. As we look at the big picture here, snow is flying up across the Great Lakes. There's another storm system behind that. This is the one that will pull the front through for us tomorrow, and there's more systems behind that. We got another front by the weekend, which means there's more back and forth going on as we get into Saturday and Sunday. Let's take a look. There's that initial front again, doesn't move through, but it's this second front, and this is around 7 a.m. tomorrow. It'll be on our doorstep. Pushes through, no rain, breezy, cooler tomorrow afternoon. Then as we get into Friday, we start off clear, but then moisture rapidly returns. That results in some cloud cover by late on Friday. And then by Saturday, there's enough moisture there where we've got cloudy skies, probably some fog and drizzle Saturday morning, and maybe a shower or two. So it could be a little bit damp to start Saturday. Clouds probably stick around. Then we get a front on Sunday. This clears everything out. It gets windy and cooler yet again. So again, a lot of back and forth going on here. Here's the 7-day forecast to lay it out for you. 62 tomorrow, but falling temperatures behind that front. 31 Friday morning, so there could be a light freeze. 53 on Friday, increasing clouds. Lots of clouds on Saturday with some fog, drizzle, 20% chance of rain. 72 Sunday, turning windy, cooler yet again. 50s to start next week, and another near freeze by Tuesday morning. Guys,
A variety of temperatures.
lots going on.
Thank you, Justin.
Yep.
All right, now it's 9:20, about 52 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA at 9. Does every form of COVID-19 testing work the same way? And should you swab your nose or your throat? Those questions answered by a local doctor right after this.
As COVID and its variants spread, more and more people are getting tested, or at least trying to get tested. And during this latest surge, there have been questions raised on social media about how well tests can detect the Omicron variant.
KSAT's Lee Waldman took those questions to local doctors.
Antibody or PCR, rapid or at home. There are options you have when it comes to testing for COVID. Dr. Fred Campbell, an associate professor and internal medicine physician at UT Health San Antonio, says you can put your faith in one above the rest.
PCR test is the gold standard.
He says according to data from the medical letter out of Harvard and Yale, at-home tests and rapid tests are still sensitive enough to detect all COVID variants.
The reliability is very high, at least 85 to 90%. So I'm very confident that these screening tests will be reliable.
Infectious disease epidemiologist Charisse Rohr-Allegrini agrees they're sensitive enough to detect the virus, but they need to be administered properly and at the right time.
Which means you really get that Q-tip up in your nose, rub it around at least 5 times on each side, and you do it properly. There's a good chance it's going to detect if you're infectious at that moment.
She mentions the timing because if you test too early, there isn't enough virus for the test to pick up on. The CDC recommends 5 to 7 days after possible exposure or as soon as symptoms start. As far as rumors on social media about swabbing your throat rather than your nose to detect Omicron,
There'd be no problem whatsoever with using a nasal swab to diagnose the Omicron variant, as it does live in the upper respiratory tract.
Now, Governor Greg Abbott says that FEMA will open up 6 new testing sites here in Texas. Our sister station KPRC in Houston reports the sites will include Harris County and Bexar County.
But it's not clear when those sites would open. The governor requested more testing sites last week, but he has continued to push back against vaccine and mask mandates. We're going to keep you updated on that additional testing site.
Mayor Ron Nirenberg took to Twitter saying, quote, "There's been a nationwide shortage of COVID test kits. We've been working with the Texas Division of Emergency Management, FEMA, and private partners to expand access to testing. And I'm encouraged by the progress we've made. We'll provide updates as soon as the new test sites are operational," end quote.
And there's a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9. A new leader picked for Precinct 3 in San Antonio. We're going to introduce you coming up.
But first, why investigators are looking underwater in their search for 3-year-old Lena Kill. The latest on search efforts underway with the FBI's assistance. Coming up in a live report. Just about 9:30, welcome back. New developments in the search for missing 3-year-old Lena Kill. Tips have led investigators to a search just a few miles away from where she was last seen.
A special FBI underwater search and evidence response team is combing through a creek near Huebner Road and Babcock Road. Katrina Weber is there live now with the latest.
Good morning. It's quite a different scene from what we've been seeing here all morning. A lot of activity going on right now. As of daylight, we've had police here. We also saw several vehicles here and people here with the emblem of the FBI. We can also see people lined up all along what police have called a creek, standing there, and we presume that someone is in the water. We were told that FBI divers were going to go into this water this morning. I took a look. I walked down the street. I could see what they were calling a creek appears to be more of a wide culvert to me with very murky, dirty water in it. And that is what FBI divers will be going into as they look at follow-up on this tip, apparently, that SAPD has received. Of course, this is the search for 3-year-old Lena Kill, who has been missing since December 20th. She disappeared from an apartment complex playground about 2 miles from here. Police have been searching on the ground and by air, and now that search moved into the water, and they did call in the FBI divers for assistance in following up on this tip. The police chief spoke to the media yesterday. He said that this is one of many, many tips that they have received regarding the child ever since her disappearance. They are giving all of these tips, equal attention, but they are exploring them in different ways. And this is the way that they're following up on the one that they received about this. So far, there's been no sign of Lena since she disappeared more than 2 weeks ago. But again, this is the latest effort to try to track her down or to find out what happened to her. Reporting live on the Northwest Side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
All right, Katrina, thank you very much. Folks, if you have the KSAT app, set your phone for push alerts. We'll update you as needed. In the meantime, you can head to KSAT.com for all the details about this case so far, starting from day one in the disappearance and search for Lena. Well, Precinct 3 in Bexar County has a new commissioner. Judge Nelson Wolf Tuesday tapped former appeals court judge Maria Lynn Bernard to replace Trish DeBerry in representing the north side of the county.
DeBerry had to resign after she announced she was running for county judge. Garrett Behringer introduces us to the newest addition to the Commissioner's Court.
I, Maria Lynn Bernard,
picked by County Judge Nelson Wolf to fill the Precinct 3 Commissioner's seat. Maria Lynn Bernard promised to hit the ground running.
I look forward to learning more and taking action on the immediate needs and the priorities of Bexar County.
This is Bernard's first time on Commissioner's Court, but she used to work next door as a justice in the state's Fourth Court of Appeals.
And I've been in public service, and that's something I've always loved, from school teaching, being a social worker, to being a judge, and certainly this, and to do good for my home.
Wolf says Bernard's range of experience put her ahead of the 26 other applicants.
She was just, a step above everybody.
Trish DeBerry was the lone Republican on Commissioner's Court and called her replacement a very wise choice.
She's hugely accomplished. It gratifies me that she's a female Republican, so there will be diversity on the court in gender and partisanship.
Bernard's appointment only lasts for this year. Voters will choose who fills the final 2 years of DeBerry's term in the November general election. But because of the timing of DeBerry's resignation, the local political parties will choose their nominees for that race rather than holding primaries.
If I would be asked or selected by the precinct chairs, I would be honored.
But for now, as of today, she is the Precinct 3 Commissioner. And in 1 week, on January 11th, she'll be sitting up here for the first time for her first Commissioner's Court meeting. I'm Garrett Behringer, KSAT 12 News.
And taking a look outside with live cam, we have warmed up to 52 degrees. Still a little chilly out there, though.
Still a little cool, but by lunchtime today, the temperatures will be comfortable across the area. In fact, we may be close to the 70s by the lunch hour. It's warm here in Texas. You go north, though, the temperatures really fall off. -2 Bismarck, -13 in Cut Bank, -6 in International Falls. These are our typical cold spots, but that cold air is starting to funnel in again from Canada. We'll feel a little bit of it, but not a lot here. Nothing like what they're seeing up north. And temperatures right now sitting in 50 degrees here in San Antonio, 61 Houston, and then gradually gets colder as you work up towards the Panhandle. 28 right now in Amarillo. No rain. We could use some rain, but there is no rain in sight. Clear skies across the state. Let's talk about tomorrow's front. It is forecast to be here between 10 and about noontime tomorrow. Further south, it'll take till about 2 p.m. for it to work through the entire viewing area. Temperatures will fall into the 50s behind the front, gusts to 30 miles per hour out of the north. By the time we get into Friday morning, we'll be close to freezing. So just a heads up, tomorrow's a transition day and temperatures will be falling. 75, though, this afternoon. Sunny skies, and look for light and variable winds. Guys.
Thank you, Justin. Looking for problems on the roads, and right now we are not seeing any in either of these camera shots. There's 281 at Hildebrand at the curb, and there's I-37 at Jones. Well, giant TV screens, robots, self-driving cars, we're all going to see all of it at this year's Consumer Electronics Show, or otherwise known as CES. Kicks off today up in Las Vegas.
The show is a bit smaller this year due to COVID, but it's as techy and innovative as ever. 12 on your side's Marilyn Morris has a sneak peek at the future.
It's Las Vegas glitz and glam for geeks, the Consumer Electronics Show. Robots roam the floors in a tech lover's fantasy land. 2,200 exhibitors are showing off their innovations, from a lamp that wakes you to a natural sunrise to this toothbrush. You can brush all of your teeth in 10 seconds.
Are these things that people are going to actually be able to have in their lives and in their homes within the year?
You're looking at products that you can go to the store right now and buy, but you're also looking at what's next.
And what's next is the metaverse. Using virtual reality headsets, you can immerse yourself in another world. It's technology that Jim Fellinger says goes way beyond gaming.
If you think about people who require therapy or have gone through trauma in their lives, the metaverse actually presents you with a place where you can comfortably go in and explore things like therapy and counseling.
Health tech is big this year, evolving home COVID testing and even a device that monitors your dog's mood. Tech is also driving the future of transportation. Scooters and bikes are on display. And for pickup drivers,
when it comes to electric vehicles, is that GM will actually be showcasing their brand new Silverado electric truck.
And in a spectacle of a challenge, autonomous race cars will compete on the Las Vegas Speedway, moving at about 140 miles an hour. Talk about life in the fast lane. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
You know, Steph, I was reading today, Mercedes is apparently ready to unveil a new, it looks like a coupe that's going to be what they say a Tesla killer. It's got solar panels on the roof.
Oh, wow.
It'll apparently run up to 600 to 700 miles on one charge and may only need to be charged twice a month for consumers here in the U.S. It's still several years away, concept car, but it looks absolutely gorgeous.
Well, and that's just the start of the competition. Who knows whoever,
you bet.
Else will jump in.
It's going to be a lot of competition for Tesla coming up in the years and decades to come. 9:37, about 53 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
Another tough loss for the San Antonio Spurs. The Raptors taking home a close win, and David and RJ having a recap after the break. Hi, welcome back. It's 9:41. The Spurs played in an empty arena in Toronto, but fans or not, they still suffered a bad loss.
Yeah, it didn't matter. David is back with RJ to break down this latest loss, try to figure out what's wrong during this latest losing streak for the silver and black. Gentlemen.
Yeah, empty arena, and it came up empty.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great way to put it. Of course, no fans there in Toronto because they've taken some extra precautions when it comes to their situation north of the border, but it did not matter.
Look at all the empty seats. This just looks weird, doesn't it?
I mean, it's like last year. I mean, basically, when I didn't have any fans to start the season.
It's like the Spurs were playing in the bubble and Toronto was not. Or
Spurs stayed in the bubble, pretty much.
I don't know what happened there. And Steph, you're right. It was close. It was close
For a while, right?
At the opening tip, it was close.
2-0.
And then it got worse from there.
I know.
So you weren't wrong, and you stayed up and watched it?
No, I was watching the updates and being continually disappointed.
Yes.
Wow.
I was watching my daughter play basketball. She had practice.
Wow.
Yeah.
How well did she do?
She did well.
See, well, okay.
Probably could have done better.
Yeah.
There's the positive from last night, because this was. Although a couple of guys got to play a lot last night, like Josh Primo.
It's Trey Jones. Josh Primo from Canada, actually.
Yeah.
So he's
home.
a little bit of a homecoming for him there.
Yeah.
Primo had himself a nice
He had
game.
like 15
points
last night. 15. And then Joe Weiskamp had 13 last. And this is why I don't like this plus-minus thing they put on the stat sheet. The guy was like 5 of 8, hit some threes, didn't make any mistakes, really, and he got a -9. So what is that?
Yeah, because obviously that's what, when the rest of the team kind of falls behind you. Now, Devin Vassell had himself a nice game, but of course the Spurs still missing a couple of guys here.
Yep.
DeJounte Murray, I mean, they really need to get DeJounte back. They've lost 4 straight games here. I think they're like 1-5 without DeJounte in the lineup now, and so they're really hurting without
The interesting thing is we weren't sure how much of a leader and how much of a contributor DeJounte was. Now we're pretty sure. They're not doing very well without him.
Yeah, definitely. Another guy, Keldon Johnson, has struggled. I think he's averaging under 10 points in the past 4 games. So
where did he go?
Keldon, a guy that needed to step up a little bit. So
this turned into a brutal road trip, and you can tell Pop's getting a little frustrated.
3 of our top guys gone and playing the young kids, but it's still basketball, and you can show effort on the board, better effort, better urgency on the board, and you could be more solid with the basketball. Keldon's not playing well.
Freezing that game.
Yeah, that was it. Keldon was asked. He's asked about Keldon. Keldon's not playing well, and then Pop got up and left.
Yeah,
we didn't show him leaving.
But Pop basically.
You've seen that before.
It was one of those questions that, hey, what's going on with Keldon? Keldon's not playing well. Boom, just got up, left.
And that was a mic drop on that one.
Have a good night.
And he mentioned 3 of their top guys. It's Doug McDermott, it's Lonnie Walker IV, and DeJounte Murray are their 3 top guys that are out in the COVID protocol. But we're hoping that DeJounte will get back tonight. He's gone through the getting back in shape, whatever that's. Yeah, reconditioning, whatever.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll be back tonight.
Yeah. Spurs need it. Spurs need it for sure because they're continuing this road trip tonight in Boston. You see it right there at Philly. I mean, this is brutal. This is almost a rodeo road trip style.
Yeah, and that's still coming up. So the rodeo road trip is going to be worse than this. So then it's Philadelphia on Friday, and then look, it's Brooklyn on
Sunday.
New York. So they could stay. Well, like we said, at least they get to stay in the same hotel while they stay in New York.
That's true.
We may need Rooney to step in here.
Yeah. What position does Rooney play?
Well, they're young, so she actually plays them all. She just goes up and down the court.
The Spurs could use some versatility.
Yeah, congratulations. We just heard from the Spurs. They've signed Rooney to a 10-day contract.
At this point.
She doesn't even have to go to the G League. She's going to.
Well, here's the good news. Rooney won't run out of gas on the court, right?
Yes,
She hasn't so far.
All right.
That's pretty good. All right, we'll see how they see how this works out against Boston.
Good luck against the Celtics tonight. Thank you, guys.
Spurs go.
Spurs go.
9:45, warming up out there. Quite a bit warmer than we were at this time yesterday.
It feels pretty good right now, 53 degrees, and I think we'll see some above average temperatures this afternoon. I want to start with the time lapse. We've got a nice shot of the gas station there. If you want to take a look at the time lapse, look at the traffic go. You see the long shadows there, and now we're looking at a pretty nice morning. 50 degrees, northwesterly winds at about 6 miles per hour. Dew point is at 41. 40s and 50s to go around right now. 48 Canyon Lake, 44 in Bandera, 46 in Hondo, but 50s here around Bexar County. And as we zoom out some, 43 Del Rio. Air's a little drier out there. Temperature's a little cooler as a result. And there was a little more moisture on the coast. That's where we saw some fog earlier. It has since lifted. Temperatures in the mid-50s there. You see that added moisture there right on the coast. That's where it stays today. It's not going to make it really any further inland. And we have a front that comes in tomorrow, and that just sweeps all the humidity away again, at least briefly. Dew points right now in the 40s here in San Antonio. You'll find 20s and 30s in the hill country, and then, as we mentioned, a little more moisture on the coast. The dew points kind of show how we're going to see a roller coaster type week. The numbers try to come up a little bit. They get pushed back down by a cold front, then back up on Saturday, then back down again on Sunday. And that shows the variability of our forecast here. There's a lot going on with these cold fronts. It will keep us on our toes over the next 7 days. As for today, though, 75 degrees, sunny skies, clear skies as we go into tonight. Temperatures will pretty quickly fall off into the 50s and eventually 40s tonight with light and variable winds. Let's look at the forecast across the state. There is a frontal boundary here that doesn't move through our neck of the woods today, sits just to our north. But north of that, it will be cooler, 50s in the Panhandle. South of that, 70s and 80s. Here in San Antonio, we're thinking 75 degrees, so we'll be on the warm side of things. As we look at the forecast, here comes the front that affects us, and by tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, it's on our doorstep. I think it moves through about midday. As it does, we get some breezy winds. Unfortunately, no rain. In fact, skies stay clear, and those cooler temperatures will really filter in. By the end of the day tomorrow, you'll notice it. Temperatures will probably fall into the 50s and eventually 40s and even 30s by Friday morning. During the day on Friday, we get a rapid return of moisture, and so by Friday at 5 p.m., clouds are starting to surge back in, and things warm up pretty quickly on Saturday as warm air surges north. So too does that moisture. We could get some drizzle and fog Saturday morning. A couple of showers possible too. And then by Sunday, here comes our next front. Sweeps everything out again. We get windy and drier conditions, and it does cool down quite a bit to end Sunday, and then as we go into early next week. So here are the temperatures in the next 7 days, and this is where it gets a little tricky. 75 degrees today, and then 50s Thursday, Friday, 70s again this weekend, and then back down into the 50s Monday and Tuesday. So just have your jacket handy. 62 on Thursday, as we mentioned. 31, though, Friday morning. Light freeze possible. Small chance of rain Saturday. Lots of clouds, and we'll tell you that. Saturday will be sort of a gray day, and then we'll see the sun again as we go into next week, and some more chilly temperatures Monday and Tuesday morning. Guys.
Thank you, Justin. This heartwarming video of a 2-year-old boy seeing himself in a movie character is going viral online.
It's not only warming hearts, it is sending a powerful message to movie makers in Hollywood. Here's ABC's Will Gantz with more.
Hi. There he is, the star of the show. What's up, Kenzo?
What's up?
That's 2-year-old Kenzo Brooks. And this is Antonio from the new Disney movie Encanto.
I understand you.
The resemblance uncanny. Something little Kenzo himself noticed during movie night with his parents, Kaisha and Keith.
I truly believe that he thought it was him. Just his reaction. He kept staring at the screen, then looking back at us and just smiling.
Mom and dad catching the sweet moment on camera.
Just to see how ecstatic he was. He clapped.
Like, he was just like excited.
The photo going viral, along with the hashtag representation matters.
He was able to see someone that looks like him. And I know growing up for me, that wasn't necessarily, that wasn't necessarily something you often see. For me, it did make me feel a little bit emotional just to think that my son was able to see this and have this experience. And just for so many other black and brown boys and girls to be able to have that same experience now, I think that was amazing.
Comments pouring in support of Kenzo and his on-screen twin. This is why representation matters. It's good seeing us on TV in a good light.
This is such a big moment for us, but for him, at such a young age, he's 2, is going to be, I feel, and I'm hoping it will be it become normal.
But it'll be nice to tell him and show him one day, though.
Years from now.
Dad Keith is a 7th grade teacher in the Bronx, and he says he's always taught his students the importance of positive representation in the media. Seeing it reflected in his own son, amazing. By the way, Kenzo's favorite movie used to be The Lion King. Safe to say that might be changing after Encanto. Will Gans, ABC News, New York.
It's not the first time I've heard amazing things about Encanto. Some people saying this is one of Disney's best animated films.
It was really good. So, we saw it, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't read up on it because I just kind of wanted to be surprised, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, I can't wait to see it. Last one I sampled was Coco. Of course,
that was good too.
Kid's all grown up now, but you're in that territory.
In that territory? Okay, well, we'll have to invite you along so you can be in that territory as well.
I've heard amazing things, so we're definitely going to have to check it out. Right now, 9:51, about 56 degrees.
And we'll have one last check of your forecast when we come back.
And we'll talk Lotto Powerball tonight.
Hey there, good morning.
Hey guys.
Coming up on live, we've got Oliver Hudson from The Cleaning Lady.
Plus Screams, David Arquette, and Resolution Week continues.
Yeah, no lag there with the pros, huh?
Yes. So does honey soothe your coughing? What about gargling salt water for sore throats? Tomorrow on GMSA, we're going to tell you which remedies really work when it comes to fighting a cold.
It's just interesting to see the networks dealing with some of the same problems that stations everywhere do. TransGuide right now, traffic looks great, even down there on the side road there at 90. There's 281 at 410. Justin.
Sunny skies. We're already up to 62 degrees, so we'll be into the 70s for sure this afternoon. Tomorrow, though, a little different. Cold front comes through about midday or so, and that cools us down. Temperatures will fall into the 50s by tomorrow afternoon.
I have exactly $6 in my pocket, burning a hole. Going to pick up 3 Powerball tickets because today is the day. Tonight is the night for one of the biggest jackpots we've seen in, gosh, a long time.
Yeah, that's right. That's because there was no winner on Monday. And then, so from Monday to Tuesday, first it went from $575 million to $610 million. For today's drawing.
That's right. That makes it the 9th largest jackpot in game history. It's been almost 3 months since someone hit Powerball. A single ticket now in California raked in almost $700 million back on October 4th.
And since then, there have been 39 drawings in a row without a jackpot winner, the game operator.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
So I don't play very often, but what if you just get the Powerball? Do you get money still?
I don't play often either. Justin and I actually split a ticket one time.
Yeah, I just remembered that they're $2, $3 if you do with a power play. That's all.